Right, we are recording.
Right, cool. So
Who's going to go?
Yeah.
Welcome to our first podcast, which is probably going to start like many other podcasts.
It's extremely original.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing.
Not a clue.
And we don't even have a name. We do have a working title, which is Anywhere But Here, which quite nicely abbreviates to ABH.
ABHpod.com, hopefully.
Hopefully we don't get any complaints about ABH.
Yeah. Why would we get complaints?
Actual bodily harm.
Yeah, that's true. Well, as long as we don't come to blows over anything, I'm sure it'll be fine. Sure.
Quite. Anyway,
So a little bit about us. My name is Tom.
that's a good idea to introduce ourselves.
And this is Ant.
I am Ant.
We're going to try not to talk over ourselves, but we will from time to time because it's new and we've never done this before.
Yeah.
Previously, we have worked together in bands. One particular one being a little known punk outfit called High Frequency, who were together for about a year and then broke up for 3 years and then got back together for a year and a half and have now been split up again for about 4 years.
So we have actually been split up a lot longer than we were an actual band.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to work, I find.
Yeah.
We have a prolific spell for about a year, then get fucked off with each other.
Well, the first time was because you went off to uni, and from Kent, High Wycombe was quite a way to... And Corky went to uni as well, didn't he?
That's true, yeah.
Well, by the way, Corky was going to be a part of this podcast,
Yeah.
but he decided not to tell us he didn't want to do it.
It's true. We found out a couple of days before we were going to record originally, which was last week now. The reason we didn't record last week was because of the snow. There's been some pretty bad snow, meaning that I couldn't get down.
Bad in terms of the UK. If we were anywhere else in the world, we would have just chucked chains on our tyres and got on with life.
Precisely, which is something that I've written down somewhere else recently.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets on with it. Canada, the Scandinavian countries, Russia.
Which are mostly snow all year round.
All year round, yeah. But then that's probably why we don't have it over here, because we only get something like 16 and a half days of snow on the ground a year, on average, in the country. Yeah, but most of that's up in Scotland and in
generally
the
not even an inch of snow most of those days.
No, precisely. But even an inch of snow turns every single driver in this country into a complete numpty.
It was going to be knob.
Yeah, I think it was. And then I was aware that I didn't really want to swear, but I've already said fuck. So
and it's a podcast, so it really doesn't matter. We need to try and earn our explicit tag.
Yeah, we do. Maybe we need to start throwing in some more expletives. But yeah, people tend to fall off the road. They can't drive.
It's just like the first sign of sun. It doesn't matter how cold it is. The first sign of sunlight, the convertible rooftops come down.
That's it, yeah. I mean,
it's the same sort of thing. The first sign of rain on their windscreen and they slow down. The first sign of snow and they decide they don't want to go out anymore.
Precisely. The weather in this country.
But not before panic buying their bread and milk.
Well, yeah, and it's always only bread and milk.
Yeah.
Why bread and milk? I mean, if you're stuck indoors, I would rather have comfort food. I'd rather grab the crisps and the chocolates and stuff like that, and the beer. And have a nice, merry time in. Not bread and milk. What are you going to make?
Bread and milk.
Just
Stodge.
Gruel.
You want something to fill you up, to make your insides explode.
Definitely. It's very strange. But, so that's why we didn't record last week.
Yeah.
Because
that's where we
went mental. There'll be a lot of that as well, rambling off on various side topics and stuff. We'll get completely thrown well off course and we might come back to what we started talking about half an hour later. I
mean, the general feel of this podcast, it is just going to be shooting the shit.
Yeah, essentially we don't really have an agenda. We've got no political bias. It's not a comedy podcast. It's just two guys sitting down having a chat about stuff.
We might end up laughing.
Yeah, I hope that it's entertaining in some way, because then otherwise we've probably failed and it's just for us then.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We're talking to you as if there is an actual audience, which right now There isn't.
As we
is
record,
just
it
us.
is strange. I mean,
In a
my
room.
main reason for wanting to do a podcast. Well, look, let's go there. Why do we want to do it? My main reason for wanting to do this podcast is because I don't have much self-confidence with talking. So this is kind of a way. I know people might, hopefully, end up listening to this.
Well, we hope.
So it kind of, I was best man at my friend's wedding last August.
Yes.
It's the first time I've done it, and it's the most terrifying thing I've ever done. I wrote a speech, and when I practiced the speech myself, it was a good 5-10 minute speech.
Yeah.
It lasted about 3 minutes on the day,
Yeah.
and I was like doing a toast, trying desperately not to drop my drink. Kind of shitting myself.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
and
had
my
the
legs
same.
almost collapsed. And it was just like talking to a room full of people that, 90% of them I didn't know. So what does it matter?
Yeah, exactly. I have slightly more experience of talking in front of people because I was
Yeah, you're the singer.
I was the singer.
Yeah,
But still, it's weird because I was also a best man at a wedding just over a year ago.
yeah.
Um,
Which is now ended.
but also I was one of two best men.
Yeah,
And I was supposed to be the straight man to the other guy, James. He was supposed to be like the comedy one because he'd known the groom a lot longer than I had. And he was supposed to go on this long speech covering a range of topics and stuff. And I basically had the small pithy speech at the very end and the final toast. And right before we were supposed to... Oh, no, he was supposed to do the toast right at the end. I was supposed to go on first, be straight, and just, play it down the middle. And literally 5 minutes before we took to the balcony...
it was a staircase.
It was a
You were stood on the
staircase,
staircase up to the balcony.
Yeah. It was weird because we were high. It was a strange kind of dichotomy.
Yeah,
because you had
the
top
top table
right
was
at the top,
literally-
We were in the middle. We were connecting the audience down below.
Yeah, the top table was literally above everyone. It was on top of everyone.
It was, so they were and so they should be the focus of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah. It was a nice venue.
It was.
It was just a bit
lovely.
odd.
Yeah.
They were watching over us. You could imagine that it was like a
It was like
a
court
royal
of
family.
kings.
Yeah, it was,
yeah, and the peasants down below. Yeah, so I had to go on last in that case and then make mine very funny, which I hadn't really planned for.
Because you were the straight man.
Yeah, and I had the makings of a funny thing in there, but mine relied greatly on props rather than the actual speech, which was only supposed to be a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So I got up there and made my first... I'm going into an anecdote now, and I realised that we're massively off topic.
What was the topic? Oh, why are we doing the podcast?
Yeah, precisely. But anyway,
That's go on.
I'll finish the story very quickly. And so I got up there and I made my first joke, or I made the opening line of my first joke, and someone else heckled me from the
floor,
from the tables. And it was a better punchline than my punchline was going to have been.
Yeah, so from going from being the confident...
Yeah, I went up there and I had gusto because I was like, I've got to turn this on now. And then I got shot down on my first thing and it went totally to pop. People believe I was very, very drunk when I did it.
I was going to say the few drinks you had before would have helped.
I had been drinking since 11:30 in the morning, but I was on form. I was up there, and it was just, it took the wind out of my sails. I'd like to put that down on record right now. That it was just that Steve Steve Martin.
Oh, Elmo.
Yeah. He
Sorry.
he was the guy who heckled me and put me right off, but that's fine. But it's weird that my main point before I started on that topic was doing the whole singing thing is more about being a persona, whereas actual public speaking as yourself is much more daunting. And something that I want to do, or something that I want to work out by doing podcasting, if that's a verb, is find out what in my diction I can improve on, so that my public speaking becomes clearer and I become a more confident
You're
talker.
trying to hone your thought process.
Yeah.
The thinking before you speak.
Yeah. And
whereas I'm just learning to speak.
And I want to try to eradicate parts of how I talk, like saying yeah when someone says something that I agree with, because I know that I do that.
Which I was just about to do.
Precisely.
I understand.
Yeah, and it's something that hopefully I'll become aware of and we'll be able to get rid of from day-to-day usage and become a more clear, precise speaker. So actually talking cock on into a microphone, onto a computer, and then putting it on the internet for people to maybe listen to.
Yeah. Hopefully it helps. It's practice.
Yeah, it'll be something that improves the way that I talk in general.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be really aware of saying yeah
well,
all the time.
This is the thing. Now I've let the cat out of the bag, and we're going to be very, very conscious from now on, which was probably a bad thing to do. Only 10 minutes into. Is it only 5 minutes into?
I don't know how long.
That counter doesn't do it in proper.
No, that's doing bars
really
because
annoying.
It's a bloody music sequence.
I see, right. So we don't quite know. I mean, we've got clocks on the laptops that we have here. I'd say it's about 5 minutes, maybe 7. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's been longer than that, you know.
But I've derailed it anyway, because now we're both very, very aware of what we do that's wrong.
One thing I will say is to anyone that's listening, and you're probably getting annoyed by little creaks and sniffles of me, our equipment's not the best.
Yeah,
I've got a nice gaming headset, which, you know, they don't have the best mics. Tom's using a Guitar Hero microphone, and we're leaning onto a nice creaky table.
Yeah, I apologise for that. I've got.
I think it's my chair more than anything.
I'm acting as the microphone stand for my microphone.
Because we don't have a microphone stand.
This table.
Yes, I mean we've introduced ourselves. You've got a vague idea of who we are. From Tom's speaking, you probably understand he's the more educated one of all of us.
I have a degree in journalism and media studies, which is not really a subject.
But it probably helps with podcasting.
Hopefully, yeah. I know that.
They'll just have to put up with the creaking for now. We can get a nice £5.
It's the gimmick of this podcast.
Yeah, we can get a £5 tabletop mic stand off of eBay.
Yeah,
I've got to get myself a handheld mic. I think
it's possibly a good idea. I might see if I can bring down my SingStar mic.
Ooh, so we both got handheld mics.
Yes. But I know that the one thing that journalism taught me about broadcasting. Delivering broadcasting is that you should aim to speak 3 words a second.
3 words a second.
Yeah. So not too fast, not too slow.
Yeah. I listen to several podcasts where that doesn't matter.
To be honest, podcasting isn't news. Isn't news recording. Isn't news broadcasting. So we probably won't. It's much more casual, much less formal. That's it. So the aim of the podcast is basically the two of us getting together, because we haven't really hung out a lot in the last couple of years. Really.
No, I mean, in all honesty though, unless we're doing something together, we very rarely hang out.
That's very true.
When we hung out before, it was when we were in a band together.
Yeah.
Getting together every Sunday, spending some time. And I mean, that was the idea of this podcast. It's a way to keep up with our friends.
Yeah.
Because, in all honesty, I'm crap at keeping in touch with people. I'm quite a solitary family man.
I love my own space.
Yeah, definitely. But it's nice to meet up with your friends.
Yeah. I miss not hanging out with people on a regular basis quite a lot of the time.
I just said that's the idea of the podcast when I already said the idea of the podcast was learning to speak.
We have a couple of ideas.
Yeah, it's another purpose of the podcast. It is just to keep in touch with our friends. That's why we were quite disappointed when we both text our friend who was going to be the third man. Luckily, we've only got 2 chairs, so it kind of worked out all right. And 2 microphones.
Because otherwise, one of us would have to stand.
And share mics. Yeah. But we both text him, and he didn't text us back.
Yeah.
And it was kind of on it was last Saturday. I texted him, No, I texted him on the Friday,
Mm.
and we didn't hear back from him. And then my partner, she got back from town on the Saturday, and she said, "Oh, I bumped into." Did we say his name?
We already have earlier on.
Oh, okay, yeah, she bumped into Corky, and he said he doesn't want to do it, and it's just a phase, and it's just kind of like, well, that's gratitude for you, isn't it? It's, where is it? Common courtesy. Brackets Corky on my notes. It's just common courtesy to tell your friends.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't want to get involved, we had a long
That's
conversation about it before Christmas. We met up. For
He
the
was
first time
quite
in
eager to do it.
ages, and he seemed fairly interested in the idea.
I mean, he doesn't listen to podcasts himself. Me and Tom consume hours of podcasts.
I personally have got something ridiculous like about 60 days worth of podcasts. And, I've listened to it all.
Yeah.
But I listen to about 15 to 20 different ones
a week.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I listen to mine when I'm at work, and I work 39 hours a week. So, I mean, that gives you an idea. I mean, sometimes I'll listen to music, but yeah, a majority of my time is spent listening to podcasts. So, me and Tom know what it's about. We know what we can get away with. We know it's just having a laugh with your mates. And the thing is, he doesn't listen to them. I mean, that could have been quite a good dynamic, having someone who didn't know.
What I thought was going to be great about it, having three of us, is the fact that one of us didn't listen to podcasts, didn't necessarily know what it was about.
Didn't know what he could get away with.
Yeah.
He would love it.
I think
his personality, the sort of shit he could get away with saying.
Yeah, and I was deflated when I heard that he didn't want to do it, because he is a naturally funny person. Because
definitely, yeah.
Of he's extremely opinionated,
which can be infuriating.
Yeah. Sometimes he's right and sometimes he's wrong.
Yeah.
But he's always right. But
he's always right.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I thought made him kind of comedy gold for this.
He would have been perfect. I mean, we are hoping that he will listen to this podcast.
Maybe see the value in it.
Yeah. And by the way, if you do listen to this, Corky, we're not bitching about you.
No.
We're just taking you to text and saying, no, I'm not interested. And, we would have been fine with it. It's just it's a bit disappointing when your friend just can't be bothered to text you back. I mean, I've been aware of it before, where if he's like, there's another situation where he was doing something for someone and they keep texting him saying, "Oh, have you done it yet? Have you done it?" And he's, no, I can't be bothered to text them back. And it's just kind of like, you can't get away with doing that.
It's kind of one of his attributes that is least.
It's part of his personality, and we're used to it, which is why we're not too bothered about him not texting back. It just would have been nice.
We know that we can carry on a conversation for a while about various points. I mean, we've come down today with God knows how many
notes,
ideas,
and we've discussed one, which was Corky.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to have that kind of dynamic between two people who kind of knew what it was about and were savvy about it. And someone who didn't quite so much. And it would have been interesting because he would always find some sort of contrary argument to whatever we said.
And if we were wrong about something, he would have shot us down.
Exactly, yeah. And the fact is, he knows a lot more about, say, the world of film and entertainment than we do. Yeah.
And he's got quite a good knowledge of obscure music. Well, not even obscure music, just, I don't know, like his knowledge of like pop punk music and ska punk music is just,
it's
it's stuff. I mean, one of the ideas we were going to have was get Corky to come in every week with an obscure film from Netflix for us to watch that week and then discuss the following week. Which we can't do now.
One of the things we talked about, which now we can't do. So,
I mean, we could do it ourselves.
Yeah, but I think you need someone who knows it.
Yeah.
To kind of
someone who understands film as well.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been a bit of a disappointment. But who knows? He might come around.
He might listen to this and kind of go, "You two are fucking boring as shit. I need to come in and talk to make it interesting."
It probably would help. I think.
Oh, I would love it if you would come and do it with us.
Because it may well be that we just talk about really boring stuff that no one else wants to hear about.
And
but I'm sure there'll be at least 2 or 3 people out there.
There's got to be some other sad fucks like us out there.
There have to be. We can't be the only ones.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we know each other and what we were hoping to do with this thing and what we are hoping to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if is it going to be every week. Do we know that?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we can't get together, I've got a way we can record on Skype.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping my
computer. I also have a way to record.
Yeah. Last week it was got to try and get Skype. Tom didn't realise he could plug his Rockstar.
No.
What was it?
It's
SingStar.
It's a SingStar.
Rockstar.
We don't know where it's come from. This is the thing.
That's right.
It's neither of ours.
It'll still work.
Mine or my partner's. It's appeared from somewhere.
Doesn't matter.
Many years ago, apparently, and just.
Maybe it's. I know Corky didn't have SingStar.
No. I don't know.
And it's a PS3 one, so it's a USB, so it'll plug straight in, like my Guitar Hero one.
Yeah. So next time it snows, which will be next year now.
Yeah. I mean, like I was going to say, even if we can't get together every week, I mean, we could just do a quick plug your mic in, download Skype, and we'll just have a
just do a chat
Skype
across Skype.
I've got an app to record with that on my laptop. That didn't make sense, did it? I've got an app to record that. Yeah, I think
there's an app for everything.
There is, even on laptops. It's just generally on laptops they contain viruses.
True.
Wow.
Well,
we're trailing off.
Yeah. This is where emergency questions come in. I'm hoping if there's ever... Well, I'm not hoping for...
emergency questions like the Richard Herring podcast.
Yes.
Do you listen to that?
That's precisely where I got the idea.
With the ham hand and... and the armpit that dispenses.
I didn't realise you listened to it.
Oh.
Nah, see, now I know.
Yeah.
See, I've ripped it off and now I've been caught
out. Put me out, you fucker.
For example, what would you do if you were in your garden and your cat was swooped at by an owl?
I didn't hear that. Oh, hang on. You're just a little dog.
Yeah.
That was such a funny story.
It was, yeah.
Oh, we're bloody giving away.
But we're plugging other podcasts.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I'd hit it with a bloody pool toy.
So
when we've uploaded this, we need you to comment on iTunes.
Yeah,
when it's
maybe.
iTunes. So if you know where that reference about the pool toy is from, comment.
Yeah,
because that would put us up the charts a little bit.
I'd imagine it would, yeah. Because we probably will comment or make allusions to other things that we listen to.
I think that should be a challenge. We've got to try not to every week.
Yeah. I've already started it though. This is the thing.
You've done 2.
Yeah.
Although one was kind of a bit tongue in cheek.
True.
One you were genuinely trying to get away with using somebody else's
idea as my
methods.
Own, Sorry, Rich. So would you rather have no elbows or no knees? So no elbows, it would be more difficult to get up.
Because this is difficult because I jog and I also play guitar. So I need my knees and my elbows. I can't have one of each. Oh, that wouldn't work because you need 2 elbows to play guitar and to run. Yeah. Well, you could get prosthetic. But then like that guy who used to play in that band, he had a prosthetic hand.
That's true.
With a plectrum attachment. It was really...
Yeah, where was that?
That was a Zebra Bar.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
I can't remember the band's name.
I can't remember the band either.
But it was basically, it was a kid who didn't have a hand, but he had like a Captain Hook thing, but instead of a hook, it had a plectrum.
Yeah. I'd never seen one before.
It was... it was weird. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. It was just kind of like a bit out of the ordinary.
Because you don't often
it was cool, but it made you kind of go... Ugh.
I mean, Tony Iommi has lost the tips of fingers and stuff.
You've given a name that I don't know.
The guitarist from Black Sabbath.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The only
Tony
guitarist from Black
Iommi,
Sabbath I knew is Zakk Wylde.
No.
That's because I like his...
Yeah, he'd lost fingers in in a machining accident.
Oh, right.
Before
those keys are quiet, but I can still hear them. He's typing away. Anyway, so he lost his fingers.
He lost his fingers in an industrial accident, and then
odd.
He continues to play guitar.
What, like his fretting hand or his
fretting
strumming hand? Oh, really?
Which is why he plays a lot of bar chords.
Oh, really?
I guess. It doesn't say. Where does it say? There's a piece of information that isn't on Wikipedia. How is that?
Well, it can't be true then.
It can't be true.
It's only true if it's on Wikipedia.
But my point is that you don't often see guitarists with just one hand.
You don't often see drummers with one arm.
That's true, yeah.
But there is one about.
There is.
He's just got to make his legs work like fuck.
Yes. Yeah.
Anywho, I think, where are we? 2:15. Can we do 5 more minutes? Do you reckon we'll get away with?
Possibly. Maybe we should sign off because it will probably take us about 15 minutes.
Try to work
do
out. I don't think we
how
generally
to close it out.
Yeah, I think we just close it. I mean, hopefully the next podcast will be a little bit more interesting. We kind of needed, we felt we needed to kind of introduce ourselves and give you an idea.
But it's also like it's a test of the equipment as well.
Yeah, because
we don't know
I'd done one of those sensible things when I went, £300 for a laptop. That's a bargain. There's a reason it's a bargain. It's because it's a heap of shit. Yeah. And I'm hoping that when I stop it, it won't delete our file.
Yeah.
Because we're using a software that I'm not entirely sure of, which is ridiculous. To delete the track, you just right click on it, which you could do easily by accident.
And it doesn't.
And it just deletes.
It doesn't give you are you sure you want to delete
No,
this?
it just deletes it.
Well, this will be fun. Maybe this will never go out. Who knows?
And if it does, that'll be good.
But if it does, and it finds its way to the internet, and you're actually listening to this, it would be brilliant if you are. And thank you if you've made it all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I don't know if I could.
I'm not sure I could either. I'll give it a go. But
I'll listen through to it to make sure all the levels are right later. And yeah, I mean, we're looking at upload. I mean, I'm not even sure when it'll get uploaded.
No. Who knows? Well, I'll give you a date. It's the 27th of January today. Yeah. So that'll give you a day, the amount of time that we're talking about trying to get it up online. But we still have to sort out a way. We still have to sort out a website and
I've got a week up. I've got a week off of work coming up. So as of next Thursday, I'm off. So you might get it by the second week of February.
Yeah, fair enough.
And if it's before then I've excelled myself.
Yeah. So if it does come to the internet and you've listened to it, I'm sure there will be some sort of comment box somewhere.
Wherever you find it.
Please don't be too hard on us. It's our first time.
Give us, if you hear something that we don't, if you notice something about the podcast that we don't, then let us know, because then we can try and fix it.
And we'll try and do better next time. And
it
will be much more structured next time. There might be an actual name that we've definitely decided upon.
But you'll know about it before us.
Yeah.
Kind of. Because you've downloaded this.
Yeah.
So it's got a name at some point.
At some point, somewhere. So, thank you for listening. This is all going a bit squiffy at the end. So what I'm going to do is just say thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening. I've been Tom.
I've been Ant.
And this has been
a podcast. Hopefully. Maybe. Rate, comment and subscribe. Bye.